Tidal or Spotify? Which one sounds best? As an audiophile and a crazy audiophile, that's what I'm interested in. And that's what I've been doing here for the last couple of days, changing all kinds of equipment, making sure I get a good reading of this. It's a long rabbit hole. Yeah, I've come up in the Bronze Age. It's that long. So let's get into this. I'll quickly do the equipment and then we'll get into some songs and the sound and a conclusion. So far as equipment goes, a lot of different stuff I use to make sure I'm getting the right reading of this, you know. I'm using my Akai AM73 amp. I also used the NAD 3020. I also used the Heed power amp going through the NAD. Using a Bluesound streamer. Speaker wise, I put these on kind of just for fun, but also because they make a big sound, which is a good thing, and I'll just show you them if you're interested in. This is Monitor Audio MA4 Series 2. Good quality, big sound, vintage speakers, mid-70s. Things like that still go cheap if you're interested, you know. And that'll do something to you, the sound you get out of that. I also put on the ELAC Debut 2.0, which I really don't like, but I thought I'd try them. I had them out. So yeah, 3 different speakers. Okay, let's try and get down this rabbit hole and come out the other end with some knowledge. I mean, I want to say that I'm sure I've compared Tidal and Spotify before. I have, and it was a much more noticeable difference. So you know, Spotify have caught up. That's what I want to say. I don't know the technical details of what they get up to and what if they've changed things, but to me, Spotify have definitely caught up. So it's getting everything here is quite fine, the differentials most of the time. Okay, first song I did was Billie Jean, Michael Jackson. I'm no Michael Jackson fan, but the production on this is great and interesting. Quincy Jones, if you don't know, he's a very famous producer. Rightly so, you know, rightly so. Anyway, that song actually starts with a super simple drum beat, yes? Now what I can tell you is the Tidal will make that drum, that snare drum, will be just a little bit cleaner, sharper, more cutting, have a bit more air and space around it, yeah? But don't, you know, this is not like an outright win for Tidal, I've got to tell you. So it's a complicated picture, is the truth of the matter here. Let me give you another song. Give Life Back to Music by Daft Punk. That's an interesting album. Well, that's a track on the album. Funny thing happened there. You know, these are my notes. More punchy bass. The Spotify seems to have a little bit more upper bass interest, or maybe it's pushed up a little bit. Now this brings up this whole question, because people will say, and it's probably true, the Tidal has a higher bit rate. It's got more information. It's lossless or nearly lossless, and the Spotify is lossy, compressed and all that. It seems much less than it used to be. I'm thinking, the point I want to make here is that it's not just about bitrate. It's also somewhere in that building of Spotify and Tidal, they make decisions purposely or accidentally maybe about what they're going to do with this sound. It's not just about bitrate, you know, being better. I feel like Spotify are just taking off the bottom end bass, the real low bass, which is sensible because most people listening to Spotify are walking around on headphones, and people that buy Tidal, people like me, are listening on big speakers at home, or good speakers, where that bass goes down fairly low, and they will appreciate it in their living room, and they'll, it will deliver. It probably won't deliver on those headphones, particularly the little buds, I mean, just to say, I was using these headphones, Grado SR125. They're pretty nice. I think about £200. And I was using those because kind of that's what you got to do if you're going to get serious about testing things. And I also plugged it straight into the phone, which was on Wi-Fi. So I thought, well, that's one way of being scientific. I'm not going through amps and speakers. So I did all these things. I did multiple ways of listening to these songs. Let's carry on. So yeah, that Daft Punk thing kind of sounded better on the Spotify. And I think if you lose the low bass, you kind of clean up the upper bass and the middle and the drums. You can clean things up when you have a limited delivery source, or if you have small, not very good speakers. I have over there a big old Sansui receiver which has a low filter on it, and if I put that amp on with small speakers, which is kind of a bit silly because it really goes low, Sansui 881 receiver, 55 watts, but it's massive and it goes really low. If I put that on with small speakers, it's better if I put that low pass filter on, because those little speakers can't cope with that low bass, and it'll be cleaner and nicer, and it'll clean up the mid-range if I press that filter. So there's a funny thing there, about low bass. And I feel like Spotify, they may be, using lower bit rates. They may also be thinking, how do we make this work for the circumstance of our, customers? I mean, I'm guessing, but seem to be happening that way. Okay, I'll do one more song, then I'll give some conclusions. Harlan County Line by Dave Alvin. That's Harlan, A-N, H-A-L-A-N. Really nice song. Big dramatic drum intro. Yeah, really nice. Sounds as good, both sound as good as each other, Spotify and Tidal, but the voice was just a bit better on the Tidal. Just a tiny bit realer, in the room, tiny bit more intimate, just tiny bit more real and there. I mean, everything I'm saying about these two streaming services, it's pretty damn small most of the time. I had real trouble. I spent so much time on this. It went on for miles longer than I thought. I thought it'd be easy, but I also started thinking, how can I even separate these sounds? And I thought what I'll do is I'll play a song and I'll just sort of think, well, how did I feel about it? I'm not even going to analyze the sound. How did it get me? And there's a song called Black Man by Stevie Wonder, which is so funky. It's got so many funky beats and rhythms. It's a mad thing. Try it. It's on Songs in the Key of Life. I only ever listened to the first minute because the beginning is kind of the best bit. But that song, the Tidal, it actually affected my spine, I thought, a little bit. Yeah, and the Spotify didn't get me in the spine at all. But because that's got some real mad low bass activity. Anyway, such a rabbit hole this. Okay, what would I say? Yeah, I mean, I would say, look, if you're walking down the street with headphones on, I don't think it makes any difference which one of these you have. You're just not getting to the level of appreciation you're gonna register it. I mean, I would say that for myself. I mean, you might think differently, but I don't feel like you're going to distinguish it. And the general thing is the Spotify wins in the middle. It's tricky. This is so tricky. The Spotify, sorry, I was saying that wrong. The Tidal wins in the middle. It's probably got a higher bit rate. It would reveal itself with really good systems. I mean, like thousands, yeah, few thousands, couple of thousand. If you've got a £300 amp and £300 speakers, it's marginal. I don't think you're going to notice. I don't think you're going to notice it. There are differences. See, it's a weird rabbit hole, this, because some songs you listen to and go, oh, like the whole landscape of it seems to have shifted a bit. I don't know, like the cutting edges of sound, or, it just really feels quite different. Busy songs, yeah? Songs with a lot of activity in them. But it's not like you can say, oh, that one's clearer than that one, that one's more detailed than that one. It's just been through a whole different set of computers, and, it's just been through a whole bunch of different machinery. And it's come out different, So, God, this is such a rabbit hole. So, in conclusion, I'm going to say, if you've got a really good hi-fi, medium to good hi-fi, I'd get the Tidal. If you've got a lesser good hi-fi, or you don't care that much, you're probably better off with Spotify, because you get some podcasts too, I mean, myself, the only time I usually use Spotify is when I want to go songs from 1986, and they'll have like 100, and they only seem to have that on Tidal. It's kind of a bit more arty. It's almost like they don't want to go, yeah, we'll just give you the greatest hits. But, there are other, I think Tidal maybe give the musicians more money. That's what I hear. There's lots of funny differences. I'm not going to go into all that, but that's my experience with them. I go into Spotify for greatest hits. That's where I go. Okay, I think that's it. It's been quite a harrowing business, this. I want to go out now. I want to go down the pub. Okay, support me on Patreon. There's more stuff on Patreon if you want. That's it. Thanks. Bye for now.